as you're going to different rides, going to the themed bars, going to the different haunted houses or the shows, you're walking through these areas and characters are going to be all mixed in throughout. So you'll see some of the props and stuff that's set out, but they're always going to be out there. So no wait times, and you can kind of chill in that area if you want to watch other people get scared, which is always a fun part of any Halloween event.
All right, that's certainly true. Also, a new show.
Yeah, we've got a new Throttle Show. This is going to be replacing the Siren. So if you've been in there in the past, they had this kind of 360-degree show, and during that, they'd have the Sirens come out and do a full experience. It would look like they grabbed one of the guests. They had like a plant inside of the group, and they would grab one of those people and take them away. And now we're getting a brand new Throttle Show, which is going to be with Havoc and his Nightmare Riders as they are tearing through portals to come and get us. They don't give a ton of details about that, but if it's going to be in that same area, you can expect it to be pretty immersive. And we've got this all new icon, so of course they're really going to spruce it up for that show. And then they're also bringing back a fan favorite. It's been here all 4 years, and it's coming back yet again. It's called Monster Stomp. It's a really fun musical. It's inside. It's got a murderous theme, and it's got a lot of pop music in there. That one's really high energy, and it's always usually pretty easy to grab a spot. It's a very large theater. So if you want some air conditioning, I know even in the afternoons and the evenings here in Florida it can get hot. You got some air conditioning, you've got a great show, and it fits the theme.
Let's talk about the food, because I know there are some menu items that sound really good.
Yeah, they have a bunch of these themed bars and you can go there, and they've got, even the bartenders themselves are going to like have full makeup and everything done. Some of the food that they've announced is going to be the Nightmare Nachos, the Monster Munch mac and cheese, zombie tacos, and Dracula Inside Out sliders. They've also got some sampling lanyards there. If you're someone that wants to just go there for the food, maybe you don't like haunted houses, but you want to see the shows and go on the rides at night, they have a sample lanyard so you can go and grab a bunch of these food, different items, and then you can be the person eating one of these delicious food items and laughing at the other people getting scared in the scare zones, however you want to do it.
And so that is certainly another option there, a lot to offer coming up at HallowScream Orlando at SeaWorld. Which starts September 5th, so I believe that would be a month from tomorrow. Meanwhile, in just a few weeks, Halloween Horror Nights kicking off at the Universal.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Good afternoon to you and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I am Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon live on Fox Local and on YouTube. It is 4 o'clock, and that means it's time for today's Top 4 at 4, where we break down 4 of the big stories that we are tracking in the Fox 35 newsroom. And joining me for today's Top 4 at 4, not Top 40 at 4.
Like, oh, my list is a little short today, Garrett.
Right. Going to be here a while. Top 4 at 4 is Fox 35 news anchor and reporter Marlisa Goldsmith. And Marlisa, thanks for being here.
Happy to be here, Garrett. Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you. And it was a busy Monday for a group of volunteers in Brevard County who we know have been searching for this man who went missing over the weekend. They believe he could be in Brevard County.
Yeah, so there's a search underway, as you just mentioned, in Brevard County for an 18-year-old man who was reported missing while traveling to visit family here in Florida. Authorities say Giovonni Pelletier is from North Carolina and was vacationing with his family in Englewood, Florida, that's in Charlotte County, before leaving August 1st around 1:30 in the morning to visit more family in Brevard County. Now, according to the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, there we go, he was traveling on Interstate 75 North with his cousins when they say he started acting erratically. He got out of the vehicle, walked away near State Road 70 in Manatee County. Now, based on some anonymous tips that authorities received, crews are now searching near Hammock Road in Mims. This investigation, of course, is ongoing, and officials are urging anyone with information to come forward. But Garrett, at this point, his family says they just want him to come home.
Yeah, you can only imagine what they're kind of going through at this point. Having to search these, multiple areas in the state here. Yeah. So obviously a lot of questions about this. And we did catch up earlier. This was the scene as they were kind of just starting. They had put out a call for volunteers, a call for help. We know investigators were out there as well. And Fox 35's Esther Bauer had this chance to speak with Giovanni's cousin at the start of the search.
Hoping to find him. We don't care about anything other than finding him. Literally nothing else matters to us. We just want him to come home.
Do you think he was harmed?
I don't know. I don't want to answer that one.
We need to talk to her long enough to get this on TV.
Okay. How do you feel that so many people are here supporting from the community trying to help?
We're good. I'm super grateful for all the help, and I'm just ready to start the search.
Yeah, so a lot of emotions there, obviously, and just hoping to find him.
Yeah, and I know that we heard from family who said to have not heard from him for this many days is unusual. He doesn't typically go this long without touching base with someone in the family. So the family seems to be very caught off guard by his disappearance.
Yeah, certainly concerning. Just to show that picture one more time, if anyone knows anything or has seen anything, I certainly asked to call investigators and might be able to help with that search. Let's go to story number 2, and this one out of Clay County. Just some bizarre and disturbing details here as a 14-year-old, according to investigators, called 911 and say, hey, I killed my parents.
Yes, very, very disturbing details in this story. As you just mentioned, a 14-year-old Florida boy was arrested early Monday morning after allegedly shooting and killing both of his parents in their Middleburg home. He reportedly called 911 around midnight to report the crime. Then he walked to a nearby church about a mile away to wait for deputies. He told them what happened. He said that he was going to wait there at that church for deputies to arrive to be arrested. A preliminary investigation suggests that this incident may have stemmed from some sort of domestic argument that escalated into the shooting. Authorities have recovered the gun that was allegedly used in the shooting at the home, and they believe that weapon belonged to his parents, Garrett.
Gosh, just heartbreaking. Still a lot of questions about what exactly may have kind of spurred that on, but we did hear earlier from the Clay County Sheriff talking about this case, giving us some of these details, and here's what she said in that news.
Just after midnight this morning, our 911 communication center received a call from a young man who stated he had just killed his parents. He stated that deputies could find his parents at the house and that he had walked just over a mile away to a church, and he would await for deputies to arrive to take him into custody. Deputies responded immediately to both locations, the church and then to a home on out here in the Middleburg area. When deputies arrived to the church, they took 14-year-old Trevor Lee into custody. When almost simultaneously deputies arrived to the address in question, they found 2 deceased individuals inside.
It's one of those things that you just right now kind of don't have any answers to, and it's just so horrible, and just kind of wondering. So hoping for some more details. We will get them eventually, one way or another. But it's just a sad story to hear about.
Very, very.
Story number 3, in this one out of Volusia County, where deputies are saying a teen was pistol whipped at a park in DeBary.
Another bit of a bizarre story here. So Volusia County deputies are investigating this 17-year-old boy who was allegedly pistol whipped at a park in DeBary. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office said this incident happened around 7:45 Sunday evening at a park near Laszlo Circle in Kalen Street. Deputies say, according to 2 teenagers, they told deputies that a man who was accompanied by 2 women allegedly approached them and then hit the boy in the head with a gun. He was treated for a cut on his head, but according to deputies, the suspect has not yet been identified. So very strange. From this preliminary information, it doesn't sound like they knew who these 3 individuals were, at least not the man who did the pistol whipping, but still very strange for this to just happen. At 7:45, that's before the sun has really set.
Right.
Daylight hours, you walk up to a group of people and you hit somebody over the head with a gun. And that's pretty much all the information we have right now.
Yeah, we know Fox 35's Chris Lindsay has been looking into this today, and we'll have an update for us coming up in a little bit on Fox 35 News. And story number 4, because we've had, I think, enough of the heavy news today. We do deserve this one, and it's a National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. So where are the cookies that you brought to us?
Oh, was I in charge of bringing those?
I thought so.
I thought it was Johnny.
We had a little bit of miscommunication here, apparently.
Okay, so happy National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. This is really a day to celebrate the famous cookie. I dare say maybe one of America's favorite.
Is it your favorite?
It is one of my favorites.
One of your favorites.
One of my favorites. I mean, let's just say I love them all. But chocolate chip is definitely up there. I think you really can't go wrong with a good chocolate chip cookie. But just to bring a little trivia in here, or I guess fun facts, the chocolate chip cookie, it's the creator, or a lot of people would say that the creator is Ruth Graves Wakefield. She created the cookie at her restaurant in Massachusetts, along with her assistant. And so there are a handful of national chains that are celebrating the day by offering a free cookie or some sort of promotional deal across the country. But here in our area, of course, you can stop by the DoubleTree by Hilton, stop in and get a cookie, no reservations required. And Insomnia Cookies is offering a free chocolate chunk cookie with any purchase. I'm really bummed that we don't have an Insomnia closer to us.
Yeah, you'd have to stay up all night to go to one.
Or pay a crazy amount in a delivery fee,
or that,
which I have done before.
Well,
not my proudest moment.
Sometimes you have to. So you can't go wrong with a chocolate chip cookie. Would I say it's my favorite cookie? No.
I
but
figured.
It's what's that? First of all, what's that supposed to mean?
Read between the lines.
And second of all, it's just a staple.
It is.
Like you can't go wrong. I would not, and probably have never turned down a chocolate chip cookie.
Okay, that's good to know.
I mean, is it my first choice? Maybe not.
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day, but I wouldn't turn it down. It's dependable. Sometimes it's just the cookie you need.
Yeah, it's almost like chicken noodle soup.
Right.
It really warms the soul.
It does in a lot of. So now I'm really bummed that we don't have.
We got to make that happen. I think you might have it in the budget to order some.
Well, we will see about that. Marlisa, we appreciate you joining us. Happy National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day to all of you and to you.
Thank you.
Let's maybe we can
get some
scrounge some up here in the commercial break. We are going to take a quick break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist TJ Springer joins me now. And TJ, it's like we turn the calendar to August and all of a sudden things are getting pretty active when it comes to the tropics.
Garrett, yeah, I feel like the tropics slowly starting to awaken. I feel like it's been such a quiet season so far, which thankfully has been great. But it's funny, usually when the Pacific is so active, the Atlantic is quieter and vice versa. And it looks like kind of what's been driving how active the Pacific has been, that climate pattern looks to start to affect us in the Atlantic, and it looks like that's what's going to drive some of these, at least potential systems to organize here through the first couple weeks of the month.
Yeah, and because there are kind of several things that we're watching now. If you could kind of take us through that.
Yeah, for sure. So at least the one that's closest to us right now, this stall front has been parked on top of us, and this has really been keeping things a little more unsettled across central Florida, and it's still draped across the southeast as we speak. And it looks like, at least over the next 7 days, a new area of low pressure could form. There's a 30% chance of development with that. It looks gradual right now, but the water is really warm in this general area of the Atlantic, the western Atlantic. So just like Dexter, it didn't take too long for it to organize. So this is what we'll have to monitor. And because it's a little closer to the coast, it looks like it could be more influenced by that ridge, that Bermuda high. So that could actually push this moisture, whatever does form, a little bit closer to home. So we're going to be closely monitoring that. We also have a 50% chance of development now in the main development region in the deeper tropics. And this wave is going to continue to move off the West African coast and move into an area that is really ripe for development. More warmth, and it looks like later this week we could gradually see this developing potentially into a depression and maybe into a tropical storm, possibly early next week. So there's still a lot to iron out, but this one, because of where it's forming, it'll likely continue on that westward track. But the question is, how far does it go west before it starts to go northeast, wrapping around that ridge? Some data likes to shift it into the open Atlantic. Some other data likes to shift it a little bit closer to the Caribbean, closer to home. So that's what we're going to be monitoring closely. We do have this area of moisture that has been really formed along this frontal boundary, and this is where we've been monitoring all of these showers and thunderstorms so far this afternoon. We can see across the viewing area some heavy rain right now, especially over in Volusia County. We've actually had a severe thunderstorm warning for this activity earlier on today, right before 3 o'clock. And this has been bringing some heavy rain, some frequent lightning, some gusty wind, possibly up around 60 miles per hour. Still nearly 300 strikes in the last half hour. So this is really focused close to Oak Hill, Bethune Beach. Now a little drier from Ponce Inlet northward toward Daytona. We're still seeing a few showers there. Farther west, closer to the Turnpike, we see a nice area of storms here, some heavy rain just to the north and east of the Turnpike, essentially from Lane Park down toward Clay Island and Montford in Lake County. So that's something we'll have to monitor as well if you're getting out and about here this evening. You may have to get the windshield wipers on briefly in high gear, but it's drier across the tourist district. We can see from our iDrive camera, actually a lot of sunshine right now. That sea breeze still to the east of Orlando, but it looks like as it moves westbound, meets the Gulf Coast sea breeze, we can start to see some more showers and thunderstorms igniting as we progress through the remainder of the evening. Kind of like yesterday, definitely not a washout of an evening, but still these scattered storms are on the table through the remainder of the day. Where we haven't seen rain, check out Bithlo, St. Cloud, feeling like 109, 111, but the land only 75 degrees. So it's where the rain has been favored. Temperatures are a little cooler, it's feeling a bit better, but many of us are still sitting in the triple digits, and that's going to be the story through the remainder of the day. Now tonight we'll dip back into the mid-70s. We are expecting these showers and thunderstorms to slowly start to fizzle out as we progress into the wee hours of our Tuesday morning. And tomorrow, with this ridge of high pressure still influencing us, it's looking like temperatures could even be a touch warmer than what they have been, trying to get back into the mid-90s, especially south and west, a little cooler to the north where we're seeing more clouds, more showers, and thunderstorms. We might even see a new heat advisory issued because of those heat indices getting up close to that criteria, which is, remember, around 108. That's the bare minimum for a heat advisories. You can see Titusville 109, Sanford 108. So we might see a new advisory issued for the heat. Even if not, this heat really means business. It's hard on your body. Remember to stay hydrated. Try not to overdo it outdoors if at all possible. Not overexerting yourself, doing any intense running, exercise without trying to take some breaks inside in the AC if possible. This is fast forwarded to Tuesday morning on our Fox weather model. This is 4 a.m. and you can see we're likely starting off mainly dry. But through the afternoon, we start to see that sea breeze trying to work in. So closer to the evening commute, we're watching out for the potential for scattered showers and thunderstorms. And once again, these could pack a bit of a punch. Torrential rain, gusty wind. frequent lightning. Because of the lack of wind upstairs in the atmosphere, these storms really can't sustain themselves. So once they blow up with the instability, they start to collapse back down, and that's when we can see some of these gusty wind situations coming out of some of these storms that we've seen. And Wednesday is kind of the same story. The sea breeze and the stall front to our north really driving our weather pattern, keeping things unsettled as we progress into midweek. Notice the one positive, it looks like with more rain, more clouds, temperatures do start to come down a little bit. This heat dome that's been kind of driving things starts to relax a little bit, and highs actually get back down a touch below normal heading into this weekend. It looks like early next week that ridge tries to sneak back in from the east, and Garrett, looks like that'll try to boost our temperatures, maybe bring our rain chances down just a touch. But overall, it still feels somewhat typical for this time of the year. The rainy season, August, not washouts, but just a lot more storms around for the latter half of these days.
I must have misheard you. You said temperatures below normal. I don't think that's something I've heard you say in a long time.
I know. I feel like it just feels great saying it. My mood's already been lifted saying it. It's just,
right.
It's brutal. I thought of you because I actually got out today. And I walked, but I also ran some, and I was just a mess. I was like, I feel so gross.
Yep. Welcome to my life. It does not take long. It really does not take long. Gosh, I mean, so normally get up pretty early to run. On Sunday, I think I ran at like 9 o'clock and was questioning every life choice, I think, at that point, which is, like I said, you've got a deadline. Once it's past a certain hour, it's just been too hot.
It's crazy, too. I felt it, Garrett, like we were out last week when it was a little bit hotter than what it is now. And I just remember taking in these big breaths. Like I felt like it was like hard, like you felt it on your chest, like the pressure. Like, wow, this is really impacting me. And it's not like we're still younger, I feel like we can say, and it's crazy even for us. It feels tough.
Yeah, you are not wrong. And so it'll be nice to get a little bit of a relief from that at some point. We'll see what happens.
Slight cool down.
Slight cool down. We'll take it. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist TJ Springer, we appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Garrett.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. This afternoon, the we saw several government agencies hold an event talking about looking at ways to cut prices of prescription drugs. This involved the Justice Department's Antitrust Division, the Federal Trade Commission, the Commerce Department, the U.S. Health and Human Services Department as well, all looking at different aspects of this and discussing ways to look at cutting drug costs. One of the people who spoke was John Lee, who's the chief counsel of the U.S. House Judiciary Committee, and he talked about kind of the tension and the balancing act between affordability of prescription drugs, but also making sure these pharmaceutical companies have financial incentives in order to keep developing new medicines. Here's some of that conversation from just a little bit ago.
I think the issue that I want to speak most about is about balance. I think there's a lot of rhetoric going one way, going the other way, and I think really the truth is somewhere in between. I think we all know that. It is absolutely true that a critical part of the health of Americans is the availability of cutting-edge medicines. And in order to get cutting-edge medicines, we need to have a healthy innovation ecosystem, of which the patent system is an important part. And we need to not kill the golden goose and make sure that stays the envy of the world. So that's very important. But at the same time, I think all of us can see that the balance and the status quo is not working. It's off balance. American consumers pay and American patients pay higher drug prices than any other people in essentially the entire world, certainly in developed countries. There are many countries where the same medicines are available. They're just available cheaper. And why are American consumers disadvantaged? So that's why the balance isn't quite working. So, you know, I do want to say that it's of course very important to note that there are a lot of factors that go into that. So anyone who tries to distill it down to one thing, like you fix this one thing and drug prices will magically come down, I think that person is being disingenuous. There are a lot of things that go into that. You've heard about many of them today from my fellow panelists. We've heard about the role of PBMs, insurance companies, all the middlemen. We've heard about a lot of things. There are a lot of regulatory burdens out there. Obviously, unlike many other industries, the pharmaceutical and biotechnology industries are very heavily regulated. So that's another factor. There are trade aspects as well. U.S. consumers are being disadvantaged by policies in other countries, and I would suggest that there are trade policies that could potentially address some of those disadvantages, both for American consumers and for American pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies. And this administration, of course, has been a leader, historic leader, in using trade policy to try to help Americans and American businesses. But I do want to focus most of my my discussion about patents, mainly because, of course, that's the work I'm most engaged in at the House Judiciary Committee. It is true that you know, I think everyone on our committee, certainly Chairman Jordan and Chairman Issa, the IP subcommittee, are very strongly behind clear, robust patent protections. It's very important that if you are an innovator and you invent something new and non-obvious and all the other things that are required by the statute, that you get a patent issued to you, that you can enforce that patent, and that patent is all the benefits of that patent are given to you, so that you can recoup your investment, so that you can be incentivized to continue innovating. So that's of course very important, and that is why the patent system is set up the way it is. That's why all the remedies that are available to a patentee are in the statute. But that's not all that's in the statute. Importantly, there are very, very clear limits on patents. You cannot get a patent if it is not novel. You cannot get a patent, or should not get a patent, if it is obvious. There are a number of limits in there, and it's important that those also be enforced. And the reason is that while patents are an important incentive to innovate, they can also be anti-competitive and anti-innovation. You know, the Acting Director Stewart talked about the patent bargain in her opening remarks. That's very important, that in exchange for the government creating this property right for you as an innovator. There's the other part of the bargain, that you provide transparency and disclosure information so that follow-on innovations can occur. If the limits of patents are not enforced, then all of that follow-on innovation can potentially be co-opted and blocked as well. So it's important to both make sure that the remedies and strength of a patent that's in the Patent Act are enforced, but it's also all the limits to patent rights are also enforced.
Part of that conversation from that roundtable discussion earlier on prescription drug pricing. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we will be right back, so keep it here on Fox Local.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon. Tomorrow, the Orange County Board of County Commissioners will consider ratifying the ICE addendum that Mayor Jerry Demings signed on Friday after previously saying he would not. His news conference explaining why. We carried live for you here on Fox 35 News Plus Friday afternoon as he talked about feeling the need to sign it so that he wasn't, he and the members of the board were not removed from office after a threat from the governor and the state attorney general. But there's still a lot of questions about this and kind of what this means, where things go from here, whether it's going to be feasible for Orange County to be able to transport these detained illegal immigrants from their facilities to the detention facilities, including Alligator Alcatraz. This is something that Fox 35's Randy Hildreth has been looking into and asking many of these questions. And so, Randy, I know this has been a big topic of conversation, and likely things, more questions that we will hear asked tomorrow as well in this county commissioners meeting.
Yeah, for sure. I think even giving context to Mayor Jerry Demings signing it, and you pointed to that, although he signed it, he made very clear in that news conference he did not necessarily want to sign it, and he still has some of the same concerns that he has expressed when he didn't sign it back in July and what they have expressed from the very beginning. The county has said they do not have the manpower or the money to be able to transport immigrants that have been detained to places almost 5 hours away, like to places like Alligator Alcatraz. Within the last 30 minutes, I just got some new numbers to put in context to what Orange County may be dealing with. They said, current inmate data shows that they have about 3,000, a little over 3,000 inmates in jail today. They didn't tease it out to have information about how many detainees they have in the county jail, but in total, that is how many inmates they are looking after right now. And then to put that into context, when they say they are understaffed, I was told today that they have a vacancy rate of 24% for correctional officers. So it gives a little bit of context to what the mayor and some of the county commissioners have been saying when they say we don't have the manpower to be able to transport people to Alligator Alcatraz. We just physically don't have enough people to do that. And when we take people away from our jails to do things like this, sending them hours away, that could potentially leave us in a precarious situation in terms of safety when we have, thousands of inmates and already don't have enough people to watch them or to care for them, and we're pulling resources. And so that is something that has been discussed a lot leading up until Tuesday. And some of the questions that I had for county commissioner or the county today and Orange County Corrections was, okay, next step. So, the mayor has signed it. The county commissioners will have to vote on this tomorrow. Let's say, unanimous, or even if it isn't unanimous, if it gets the majority vote and moves forward, what are we going to do? If you say that you don't have enough people and you are signing on, what does that look like? And I didn't get a clear answer from county leadership today, other than this will come up tomorrow, and certainly some questions that will come up, and I'm listening for the answers to be able to report back. And when I have an opportunity to talk more with commissioners in person tomorrow, certainly a question that I'll have for them.
Randy, how are other counties handling it? How are they able to swing this, or are they?
Yeah, that is a question that I took to other agencies today, and actually got some new information. I understand that the Florida Sheriff's Association had a meeting last week and just rolled out a new pilot program today for certain areas of Florida. So the northern part of the state is piloting this program to potentially streamline transports of detainees. So spoke with Sheriff Rick Staley in Flagler County. His deputies were not facilitating transports of detainees. Right now, he has 3 in his jail right now. But under this new pilot program, they have taken Florida, divided it into regions in the northern part of the state. And within that region, one county is responsible for taking care of all the transports in that area. And so in Sheriff Staley's region, which is Region 8, it includes parts of Central Florida, Flagler County, Lake County, and Marion County. Marion County will be responsible for transporting detainees within their region to, picking people up from potentially Lake County, Flagler County, Citrus County, Putnam County, Sumter County, and then they will be responsible for taking them to an approved ICE hub. And so potentially it could streamline how detainees are transported. We will have to see how efficient and effective that is logistically. I didn't have an opportunity to interview anyone from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. They were not available for an interview, but they sent some data. They say they have 11 deputies on their transportation unit. They have dedicated buses already in place for this. These are systems that they already had in place. They already have 4 jail canine deputies who can help. So they aren't pulling correctional officers or deputies who would manage inmate staff or who would manage inmates. So these are people who were already dedicated for transport, and they say they have the resources. They don't feel like it's an issue. We'll have to see how this goes in the northern part of the state to see if this is rolled out elsewhere.
Because it's not a quick trip. If you're having to take them to Alligator Alcatraz, it's not like you're just talking, well, they're going to be out of pocket for an hour or two.
Right. And that is one of the questions that I had. I asked Marion County Sheriff's Office, I know this is just day one, but do you anticipate this becoming a logistical issue? And they said, we'll do it based on availability. We don't feel like this is an issue. They have transported detainees to Alligator Alcatraz in the past. right now, they say this shouldn't be an issue. It's something we'll have to monitor and check in once, the wheels really start turning with this. And they are now, having to have the responsibility of traveling maybe a little farther to pick someone up and then take them farther. So we'll have to see.
It's going to be an interesting discussion at the Board of County Commissioners meeting tomorrow. That is for sure. Fox 35's Randy Hildreth, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon here on Fox 35 News Plus.
Absolutely.
And we will have a lot of coverage for you of that meeting tomorrow as well. So you'll be able to join us here on Fox Local for that. I want to go to Flagler County as well now, where we are following up on the construction of the Flagler Pier. And that project put on hold right now because of the discovery of 2 new sea turtle nests. Fox 35's Chris Lindsay joins us live now via Zoom. And Chris, what's the situation?
Well, just a few weeks back, there were a couple of turtle nests that popped up there on the shore in Flagler Beach. Now there are 2 additional ones. One of them is just feet away from the construction equipment. There's another that is just feet away from the pier itself. So after discussing with city leaders and project leaders about potential alternatives, altering the plans, putting the pier pillars around these turtle nests, they've come to the conclusion that that sort of adjustment would take just as long as it would to do the incubation period for these turtle nests. So they're deciding to do that. Tomorrow will be the last day of construction for at least a month as they wait for these eggs to hatch. So one of the timeline that the city engineer offered is 55 to 70 days for that incubation period. It's already been a few days, so we're looking at least until mid-September until they'll be able to resume.
Chris, we know the saga of getting to this point in rebuilding the Flagler Pier, but even since construction has started, there have been kind of several things that have been, I think it's probably fair to call them setbacks. I mean, this is obviously putting a pause on it. We had the electrical fire at the construction site there just a couple of weeks ago. There have been a lot of things going on there.
Yes, initially this was supposed to start even earlier this year. Things got pushed back then. Then, as you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, they had the electrical fire, which put a couple of businesses out of power for several hours, one for over a day. And then now you have this situation where they're going to have to pause things indefinitely. So definitely a few mishaps. Obviously, these are things that you can't really control. Obviously, there are a lot of regulations as it relates to turtle nests in Florida, not only to get the construction started, but when it happens in the middle of it, there's not much you can do. So rather than trying to adjust the construction plan and the blueprint, which could take weeks at a time, they say, hey, let's just put things up for now and wait the several weeks, or in this case, it could be a couple of months before these eggs hatch.
Yeah, maybe those sea turtles should have filed their permits before getting on the construction site there.
Exactly.
Fox 35's Chris Lindsay. We appreciate you giving us that update from Flagler County here this afternoon.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Tracking breaking news here on Fox 35 News Plus, and an update to one of our stories in our top 4 at 4, where we know a suspect who is accused in this pistol whipping in DeBary has turned himself in. This is a 39-year-old Markfavis Chance. He is the suspect who the sheriff's office says assaulted a couple of teenagers in DeBary last night. He is now charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, 2 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm, 2 counts of armed robbery. According to the sheriff's office, turned himself in at the jail this afternoon, now being held with no bond on those armed robbery charges. So an update again to that story that we first brought you a little bit ago here on Fox 35 News Plus. Questions surround a cemetery in Apopka. It has been in disrepair. And a volunteer has been trying to revitalize it, but now questions about what happens next and what the future is of what is supposed to be a final resting place of peace. This is something that Fox 35's Marie Ettinger has been looking into. She's got a story on this coming up in just a little bit. And a few minutes ago, I had the chance to sit down with her and talk about this situation.
Apopka called the Bay Ridge Cemetery has been overgrown. There are grasses up to people's knees. There were trees that had fallen down. There are shrubs covering headstones and weed growing over them as well. Things were starting to get rotted out. And this woman I talked with about 9 years ago stumbled across this place and just thought, what is going on here? So she made it her passion project to get this fixed up. So she reached out to anyone who would listen. And she really has made some progress over the years. So in the past couple of years, the city of Apopka has stepped in. They actually did that just last week as well. Went through and cleaned some stuff up. They put in a bunch of pesticides and weed killers so that they could then mow everything out. So what you're seeing in that video I just showed a moment ago is significantly better than things looked like even a week ago. But the thing is, that is just not sustainable. The city says it is not their problem. And there's no real plan for the future for the cemetery. And so this woman is saying not only is not enough being done right now, she's worried about what will be done in the future. And that's where our story kicks off.
So whose problem is it then?
Aha! So isn't that a conundrum?
Right.
And that would be the main question. So what it comes down to is it is privately owned property. So in theory, it would be the property owner's problem. They're a cemetery, they probably, or one would expect, took payments, and the payment that you make for that headstone would go toward maintenance typically. But the woman who owns it now actually inherited it from her husband's family. And she's just, this is not her deal. She is not able or willing to take care of it, so far as I know. I was not able to get a hold of her, but I know the city has in the past. The city of Apopka did step in and they paid for some repairs, like I mentioned, but it's not even in the city of Apopka. It's actually in an unincorporated part of Orange County. The county told me today that they do not maintain cemeteries, and they said the best thing for the cemetery would be for the property owner to annex it to the city of Apopka. The city of Apopka is saying that's just not sustainable for them. That's just another expense for them. Because they're not selling headstones there now or spaces there now to be able to pay for the upkeep. So the city is saying they're hoping some volunteers will step in. The woman I mentioned earlier who took an interest in this place is also hoping people will step in. But right now, as for whose problem it is, kind of up in the air.
How did it get into this shape to begin with and into such disrepair?
I mean, if you have an active cemetery where people are selling plots of land and you normally would have keepers who go in and maintain everything, that's how that happens. But it's kind of just a business that fell apart. And if there's nobody running that business, then nobody maintains responsibility. It's not illegal to let your property get overgrown. There are no code violations there. So that's, I guess, what happened. And now it's just a question of what will happen in the future.
This woman who's been kind of spearheading these efforts, how did she get involved in all of this and why?
She's a history buff. She just takes an interest. There are several veterans buried in the cemetery. There are also a lot of big names in the city of Apopka and in Central Florida who are buried there. So she noticed that there are lots of people like the Shepke family who they have roads named after them. The Reed family also has families there. So this woman, just kind of goes on adventures, goes wandering around. I relate. I do the same thing. You just go on little walks. And she said 9 years ago, she just kind of stumbled across it. And she was interested in it. She saw all the families there. She cared for them. And she thought, you put your loved one thinking that this is their final resting place and you want them to be at peace. And so when she saw this and thought, there's no way this is the peace that people pictured, she wanted to take action.
So where do things go from here then? Because it sounds like when it comes to, the government side of things, there's still a lot of questions there. So in the meantime, what happens to make sure it doesn't go back to the way it was?
Yeah, the city says that they hope to be able to go in a few times a year and clean things up. But again, that's just an expense that's going into the abyss for them. And volunteers would also be super, super helpful in this situation. The mayor and I were also kind of spitballing ideas for a little bit. He said, if they found out where everyone was buried, because there are a lot of hidden grave sites there, and if they found out that there was space where they could actually be able to have more people buried there and sell those plots of land, maybe the city could take it over and maybe they'd earn enough money from those plots to be able to pay for some of the maintenance for a little while. That's like a if tiny idea. One of the things they need for that is ground penetrating radar to be able to see where those grave sites are underneath the ground. I reached out to the forensics lab at the University of Florida today. I'd done a story with them before and asked, could they bring a ground penetrating radar to this area and maybe help out the city and help out with this grave site? And they were pretty positive about it. They said, yeah, reach back out to us later this fall. So I have a calendar reminder for myself in that to see if we maybe could get somebody to go out and help out. It'd be, free training for those students and could really help out the city. And maybe that would be a path forward. But that's a big if. And so in the meantime, it's just whoever could help out, hopefully will do it. Maybe volunteers will go. And the city has a loose commitment to help out a little bit in the meantime. I also mentioned there are veterans buried there. The mayor told me today that the veterans with Wreaths Across America will go out in December and lay wreaths down there from VFW, a post nearby.
So stay tuned for that. And stay tuned here on Fox 35 News Plus. We're going to take a quick break, but we still have more to come, and we will be right back.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon. A tough homestand for the Tampa Bay Rays wrapped up with a 2-1 series loss to the Dodgers this weekend. The Rays are now 55-58 overall, so 3 games under 500, but they're 2-8 in their last 10 games. It has certainly been a struggle for a while now, and now they are heading on the road, a road trip for a while now. They won't be back home until the middle of the month. Here is Rays manager Kevin Cash, who spoke after the game yesterday and tipped his cap to Dodgers starting pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a big fastball, pretty explosive stuff, and not the biggest guy in stature, but certainly pitches like a power pitcher. And, the guys that first time through were coming back saying that the fastball really gets on you, but he's got a full arsenal to use, so makes it challenging.
Encouraged by Joe Boyle's outing today and limiting that lineup there?
Yeah, really impressed with Joe. Felt like he kind of reset himself coming off the Yankee outing, so proud of him, happy the way he threw the ball, and let's continue to build off that.
Englert's been really good for you. I don't think he's allowed a run since he came back up. It didn't seem like they hit him hard, just the ball that just got by Brandon, the ball to left field.
Walks.
The walks were the bigger issue.
Yeah.
And then in the 5th, you had a pretty good chance there too, right? 1st and 3rd, and I think you had Yandy and Brandon.
Yeah, Yandy and Bilal coming up right there. I mean, we got to find ways to, when we get guys on the corners like that, to somehow get one, get one across, maybe get 2.
And then I know it wasn't a clean inning, but what did you think just seeing Jax from your side?
He's got a pretty full arsenal of some nasty-looking stuff for sure. He's definitely going to help us.
Gotcha. And I know we've asked you this a million times, but just looking for that game where you guys get a bunch of things that click and kind of get you rolling again?
Yeah. Yes.
Kevin, Jake Mangum's been scuffling at the plate of late. Today he gets 2 hits, hustles it out, 3 outstanding defensive plays. Could you speak about just his all-around effort today?
Yeah, I mean, he did some nice things at the plate. Happy to see him get some hits. Young player that's pressing probably right now. There's not many guys that come into the league with their first opportunity and make the most of it, where you're hitting 330. And then the league's adjusted. He's getting more fastballs. But I was happy to see that he was able to get some hits today for sure. That was a heck of a play he made on Freddie Freeman's ball.
Jake, it's been challenging at the plate lately for you. So how encouraging is it to have a game like this where you made some things happen offensively, but the defensive plays were outstanding all over the field?
Man, this is a weird game, man. You can do a lot of things right and things not go your way, and you can do a lot of things wrong and things go your way. I was really fortunate to have a hot start when I got up here for the first time. And this is a game of adjustments. I'm learning a lot up here on my first year. This is the biggest jump. And throughout the year, leaning on the guys that have done this for a long time has been a big thing for me as well. Like talking to Yandy yesterday, he helped me a lot to just relax a little bit and let the game come to you. I've got a lot of faith in everybody in here, and we're just going to keep going, keep fighting until the end of the year.
So the trick is just don't fight, just stay the course, which is easier said than done, right?
We're going to keep fighting, but as far as you asked about my offensive struggles, just slowing down sometimes and just talking to God a little bit and trusting the game. That's really it.
The catch against the wall there, save some runs, pretty exhilarating to make that type of play.
Man, when you're struggling with the plate, you are dying to help defensively. And look, I know I've been going through a rut here as of late, but I've done this in high school, college, A-ball, AA, AAA. Like, to think you're going to come to the big leagues and not go through something like that would just be dumb. So you know what? I just gotta. Lately, I've been slowing down a lot more. At first, it started just being a little sped up, and lately, just slowing it back down and letting the game come to you a little bit. Look, I'm just trying to help the team win, man. Like, really, I don't care how I do it. If they call on me to run the bases, try to do that. Defense, be a good teammate, try to hit the ball hard. I'm doing my best every day, and we're trying to win baseball games. There's a lot of baseball left in this season. There is a lot of baseball left in this season, so we can do you know, we can kind of control our destiny from here on out. So we just got to keep playing good ball. I like some things we did this weekend, so continue to build off of that. And the fact that we can fight back in the ninth inning like that, give us a shot, that speaks volumes of this team. I know we're disappointed with the outcome of this game, but if you keep fighting like that, things are going to go your way eventually.
Yeah. It's a tricky little corner of the room left, right?
It is. It is.
Just got to time it right.
That corner really darts in a little bit. But we've been here long enough. We know how it plays. Left field's the newest outfield position for me, and I've been working really hard with MJ just to try to get better, and really like to see the work we're putting in come to fruition a little bit. I've always been center field primary, right field secondary, and left field last year was really my first year to really do it a little bit, and Durham's a different place. It's not like a normal left field. So, just continue to get better out there and try to take hits away and, do my best.
With their first run, is that like a design play to throw it to Taylor?
A little bit. I could have played that ball a little bit better. That's the one play I wish I had back defensively, but that ball was bouncing left and right. It's tough to charge that ball when it's bouncing like that. Worst thing can happen, go under my glove or over my glove. Just got to secure it first. I can always talk about how we can do things better. But yeah, that's definitely something I wish I could have charged a little bit better. But get the ball in the shortstop's hands, always that's always the right call typically. Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on Fox 35 News Plus this afternoon. We appreciate you joining us here live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Hand things off to John and Luann in studio